Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Warzone in Depth. In today's episode, I've got a Cold War x Warzone Season 5 info dump for you. As most of you are well aware, Season 5 came out late last night with updates for both Cold War and Warzone. It also seems to have included some stuff that alludes to Vangaurd, so I'm going to assume that this is going to be the last season before Vangaurd fully takes over. The new operator is a Japanese character. Some of her background text says Vangaurd is coming. I've seen some stuff on Reddit about like World War II characters people are accessing in the menus, and then there's leaks online and stuff. So I'm assuming that we'll have mid-season integrations coming very, very soon. Of course, a new battle pass was added, and the Japanese hacker character is kind of doing what are the numbers, Mason, what do they mean for her overall theme. So it's just kind of numbers everywhere. Very neat skin though. If you're going to pick up the battle pass or any of the new cosmetics, you can use creator code DRIFTOR. It has to be all caps and the O is a 0, but doing so gives me a little kickback if you decide to purchase microtransactions. I realize that Activision Blizzard is in a rough spot right now, and many of you would judge me for promoting this, especially since that makes the video sponsored, but I realize that a lot of people are going to buy microtransactions regardless of what the main company does, and if you're going to do that, I might as well make a little profit from it. Yeah, the battle pass is a lot like ones you've seen in the past. You unlock it, you get a ton of free stuff, couple of good items right up there in the front, including a skin. You'll get the 2 guns later on, but in the store we have this Genie Aladdin thing. There's a Videodrome C58 with all sorts of VHS players on it. And of course, level 1 in the battle pass, the Kyubey Kitsune skin, one of the best ones in the game. A really nice striker later in the battle pass. I kind of like the white and gold. And for your epic weapon, you have a Tron-themed EM2, which is one of the new weapons, very 80s kind of. There's sort of a cyberpunky Tech-9. I kind of get some late 80s cyberpunk vibes from it. And then, of course, the Numbers Mason Samurai Kitsune skin at the very end, which is also very nice. There were 2 new weapons added to the game, the EM2 and the Tech-9 SMG. You're watching gameplay of the Tech-9 SMG right now on the new map Echelon, and yes, it is supposed to be single fire. It is a semi-automatic SMG, and in order to make it either burst fire or fully automatic, you have to level it up and get unique muzzle attachments. I think the full auto mode is at level 46, so I have a very long way to go with this one. As a single fire gun, it seems to deal high damage and be, you know, low recoil, but it's very difficult to use when there are other better single fire weapons like marksman rifles. The Tech-9 is just very weird, and I have a feeling it might be very strong once it's fully upgraded. The EM2 is a very heavy assault rifle, very high damage, low recoil, low mag count, real low rate of fire. You don't want to miss very many shots with it, and it seems like it's probably going to be more of a Warzone weapon, but in Warzone it has an incredibly slow aim down sights time. However, I'm thinking with the high damage per shot, it might have a surprisingly fast time to kill in Warzone. Testing pending. They did add a new score streak, which is the FLAMETHROWER. It's only about 1,500 points, so it's not very hard to unlock. Range is very limited on this one. It's not one of those super long range flamethrowers. Mobility, oddly very high. I can run around fast with it, but the big problem with it is that it's super weak against Flak Jacket. Flak Jacket users just don't take very much damage from it. Most of the people that die from the flamethrower don't die from the initial damage, but more from the burn. So a lot of times you'll hose a whole bunch of people and they'll take damage and kill you, and then you'll get a couple of kills after you're already dead. So this is more of a peek and retreat kind of weapon instead of a true room clearer. Cold War got 2 new maps, Echelon, which you're mostly seeing gameplay of on Hardpoint, and Slums. So we're going to cut to Slums real quick. This is classic Slums from Black Ops 2. They remade it almost as one-to-one as humanly possible. They always do at least one throwback map, and I'm kind of glad they chose this one. This was a really good competitive map, and I could totally see it being rotated in the competitive season if that wasn't about to end relatively soon. So I think Slums is looking really good. Echelon is pretty fun to play. They also added a little map called Showroom. This is at the Twin Pines Mall, and this one is a very small box map. It's almost like a paintball arena with little bits of cover here and there, though I do like the interesting escalator situation in the middle that you can climb up and transition a little high to low and cut across the middle of the map, and I think that's kind of neat. But overall, between all of them, I think Echelon is the one that is the most fun. Echelon's new, it's fresh, it's a little bit different pace, a little bit different geometry, a lot of easy ways to fall off the map, and that's kind of neat. Anything that's new is fun. Speaking of new, they added a new mode called Double Agent. This is kind of like Among Us Call of Duty style, or maybe Trouble in Terrorist Town. you can be a double agent and sabotage your teammates, and they have to figure out who and kind of kill you. Unfortunately, this is not a mode that I played because I have my in-game audio turned off because it's very, very toxic. So this is one that I'll probably run custom games with a lot of friends later this week. Cold War did get a huge weapon tuning pass. Unfortunately, I am so far removed from gun stats in my life right now that I'm not going to offer you any unqualified opinions on it because I don't know if it was good or bad or honestly what the stats were before. Zombies got a tank vehicle. That's kind of all that I know about zombies for now. I am so far removed from zombies as well that I don't feel that I should offer opinions or even news updates on it because I don't understand enough. But I did see they got a giant tank. Now let's take a look at Warzone. Warzone got the EM2 and the Tech-9 SMG as well. I'm not sure how these fit into the meta. I'm sure that True Game Data and JGOD are out there just hammering away super fast to see if they've got a time to kill that makes them remotely competitive. I will say they both do have major downsides. The EM2 has an incredibly slow aim down sights time, like slower than sniper rifles, so that can be brutal. And the Tech-9 is, again, semi-auto. You can make it full auto with attachments, and the magazines on it are kind of small. So there's really big downsides to both of these weapons. If they end up being good, it will be by the thinnest of margins. What's more interesting in Warzone is that they added new perks. That should be a much needed change to the weapon balance. So the first perk we got is called Combat Scout. It auto pings and highlights enemies if you damage them. So if you shoot them and they run back behind the wall, this briefly highlighted and pinged for your team to see. So I think this is a big one for console players because it's a lot easier to ping on PC with like a mouse button than it is to actively ping while you're shooting on console. So that one's really huge. It replaces Ghost, so very spooky. And then there is Tempered, which is 2 plates to get full. Basically, each plate is now worth 75 points, so you can fully restack up to 150 armor with just 2 plates. So it makes your health and healing overall a bit more efficient, which is a good one. And this one is a yellow perk, so that's probably going to replace Amped for a lot of players. And then finally, they decided to make Cold-Blooded more viable. Of course, you're still undetectable by like sentry guns and thermal vision, but Cold-Blooded no longer triggers high alert when you're looking at enemies, and it negates the Combat Scout perk that we just talked about. So Cold-Blooded became a much more viable choice as well. They added a whole bunch of new mobile broadcast stations with buttons that you can eventually press. I don't know what these are going to do. The patch notes said that they do things and they prevent loot from dropping, yes or no, but as of right now, they're fully disabled. And I think that's because the red door event is not ready. The red doors have changed. Sometimes now it takes you to a hallway of red doors and you have to pick the right one with the right noise to get the loot. Otherwise, it's going to kick you out to the top of the map in the middle of nowhere. So the doors are a lot more random and a lot less rewarding. The Gulag has been changed to Rush from Black Ops 2, which is the paintball map, if you remember. And it's not a bad change so far. It seems like a nice symmetrical kind of thing you can play. And it also seems really close quarters oriented, which is good for the Gulag. Also a huge change, just a godsend. You can detach from zip lines now. You no longer have to ride them to the top. You can detach and just fall and parachute away. Now, I do want to clarify that this is not a very fast detachment. If you are getting shot at and you decide halfway that you need to hop off, it's not like Apex where you do it instantly, but now you can at least do it if somebody makes the call out that somebody's, maybe an enemy at the very top waiting to hose you. And then finally, there is no anti-cheat in Warzone or Cold War Modern Warfare, but I haven't seen any hackers in a while. Maybe I'm just getting lucky, but I haven't seen any blatant hacking, so maybe that 50,000 banned people did something good. Alright guys, that's all for this short COD update. I'm going to be playing it over the next couple of days to see if I can learn anything new, and maybe we'll have some cool in-game events with the red doors sometime soon. If you enjoyed this short video, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.